Hello y'all, we're at Ridgely Giving Garden and we are going to start planting for the fall. So it is August right now, and so you're probably thinking, anybody who's from Texas, August is very hot and dry. It absolutely is not fall, but since we have freezes and frosts that come usually in late October or mid-November, we usually have to start planting and prepping and planting for the fall. And so today we're going to be planting these 3 different plants in the garden. An Amara mustard right here, a pretty heat tolerant mustard. We have a Winterbor Kale, which I find is quite heat tolerant to a point. And then we have Swiss chard, which is pretty heat tolerant as well. So we started these guys in 72 cell trays. So they're pretty small little cells. You put 1 seed in each one. I did straight compost, but usually what people do is they'll do compost, a good compost that you can trust, that's not too hot, and you're putting vermiculite and perlite in that to help with drainage, or also just helping to keep some water in that compost. I don't pot them up. You can pot them up to give them a better chance, but we're already in mid-August and these are a lot of plants to pot up and I don't have the space for grow lights. So we're letting these seedlings grow, so they sprout within a few days, other than the Swiss chard, which can take up to 2 weeks. It's a slower growing, slower germinating plant. What we got here is, these are its first initial leaves. These are the cotyledons, and what we're looking for is when it puts on its first actual true leaves, and then when we get some roots coming out from the bottom and it starts getting root bound, that's a good sign that it is ready to either pot up or we can transplant out in the garden. What I would be doing if I had the choice is we'd be planting in the evening, because it does get so hot and it is dry in August, but we don't have that, so we're planting early in the morning here, and we're planting in shaded out areas. So we're going to be planting among the okra and the eggplants, all right in here. There's one bed that we're just going to clear out so that it has room for these big greens, but it gets a lot of shade. So we're planting our greens along drip tape. So every 8 inches on this drip tape is an emitter. So our leafy greens are being planted every 8 inches. I'm going to dig a hole that's deep enough for the roots. And I'm going to fill that hole with a little bit of compost and also an organic fertilizer called Texas Tea. I'm going to gently pop out 1 individual, this is Swiss chard, so I'm going to gently pop that out of its cell. And I'm going to put those roots into the hole, and then I'm going to fill that hole with the surrounding soil so that the roots are protected and the Swiss chard is standing upright. And then I'm going to run that drip irrigation every single day through the hot season to establish that plant. So I'm doing every 8 inches, which these plants, Swiss chard, kale, mustards, they get quite big. So 8 inches is actually pretty close. So there's going to be some natural thinning off. So some of these greens are actually going to die naturally from the hot sun. But then as they get older, we can naturally harvest and thin them out to give more space to the other greens as well. So hope you enjoyed. Get out there and garden and plant for the fall.